So how different is real estate today?
Well, let me tell you, there have been a lot of changes in the way we show properties. So one of the first things that came out just last week was this form called PEAD that was put out by the California Association of Realtors, and that is the Property Entry Advisory and Disclosure Form. And that's required to be signed by all parties, including the seller, the buyers before they enter the property, both the listing agent and the showing agent. Everybody needs to sign that. And that's basically saying, hey, we're in this COVID-19 era, and while this is going on, everybody is acknowledging that they're aware of it and that they will use all of the proper precautions. Now, those precautions include keeping that physical distance. When an agent is showing the property, only the agent and two of the party that are the interested buyers are allowed in the property at a time. And then the sellers must vacate the property. So they're usually stepping out, either going for a walk or maybe taking a ride in the car, or if they're gone to work, then they're obviously out of the house. So both on the front end of the showing and after the showing, we are cleaning all of the light switches. We're wiping down the faucets. We're going ahead and turning on the lights, opening the blinds, and making sure that the house is ready for that agent and the buyers to step in and minimize any surfaces that they might need to touch. And then, of course, when they're finished, we're going in behind them and wiping everything down. So where the seller is not available to do that, Glen and I are doing that ourselves, and some of the listing agents that whose listings we've been showing, they're doing that. So that's one thing that's changed. And then, of course, everybody is wearing masks and booties and gloves when they are in the property. So we're doing a lot of things to be able to make sure that everybody has protection and has that, and keeping that physical distancing.
Now, obviously, we're not having as many in-person showings as we've had in the past. So one of the things that's taking the place of an in-person showing is a virtual showing. And that's where we would walk through the property and either record a video, or we would do Zoom and have the buyer and the buyer's agent part of that call and walk through the property and just narrate exactly what the features are, what the bells and whistles are of the home, so that they can get a sense of what it is. The interactive is one way of doing it, with, again, the buyer and the buyer's agent on the other side, because then they can ask questions and we can go in and center in on that area of the house that they have questions about. The other is just simply doing a video walkthrough and having it narrated either by Kelly or myself, and then that is posted on Facebook, on YouTube, any place that the buyer wants to look at the home and get a sense of what it's about. And for people that are not as familiar with Zoom and have some familiarity, the other option is using FaceTime. And that allows for one-on-one communication between the agent that is showing the home, which either would be the buyer agent by themselves or us doing it for the buyer and the buyer's agent. The other thing is that if the sellers are either out of the property or they are willing to allow us to do this, we would do what we have normally done in the past, and that is have a professional videographer come in and get professional pictures and video, and then we would also have professional staging. If they're not comfortable with that, then we work with what we have, and of course buyers know that that's a limitation these days, so they're understanding as well.
And lastly, we've been able to make a lot of use of the interactive 3D tours, and those are done with either the professional photographer, or in our case, we own our own 3D tour camera, and we go in, again, with the seller's permission, and we set up that 3D camera and do scans of the entire property, and we are able to put that together to have that 3D tour where you can basically go in and it's like you're virtually in the house yourself. You can look at the ceiling, you can look down at the floor, you can see all of the walls, and we're also able to get a floor plan which includes dimensions that way. So, Glen, meetings have changed too. I've been doing meetings with Zoom, Glen has been doing meetings with FaceTime, and we are setting up meetings to go over the contracts that we've gotten on a couple of our listings, to go over the contracts on the listings that are coming up, as well as to review contracts with the buyers that we've prepared after we've been out on some showing appointments. So homes are still being sold and they are still being purchased. We're just recalibrating the way we do business using the technology we have available to us.
The other thing to add to that is even before it gets to the point of having the property on the market or even taking buyers out to show homes, we're able to have virtual meetings with them, a consultation both for listings, to let the sellers know what we can offer and what the options are. And with buyers, we can do a consultation so that we can get them on track for moving forward. And so even though it seems like the real estate market has ground to a halt, it really hasn't. It's just being done in a different way than we've done in the past.
Once we do have a property in escrow, escrow sends the wiring instructions out, and the buyer's deposit and all of their loan funds are going to be wired directly to escrow, which is no different than it's been for many years. So those things are really not, there's nothing really new there. We have had some buyers who prefer to give a check to escrow, and that has really gone out of fashion, and it's no longer convenient. So we're doing wires only.
And once you're in escrow, what we're seeing is that both inspections and the appraisal can be done with safe practices in place. Everybody is wearing booties, everybody's wearing gloves, limited number of people in the home at the time of either an appraisal or the inspection. And everybody, of course, signs the PEAD so that everybody is on board with understanding what the safe practices are and what the pros and cons of being in the home are. So same as usual, just done a little bit differently.
And once again, that CAR form PEAD is the Property Entry Advisory and Disclosure, and it talks about all of the different factors that are in place right now during this time. So everybody practicing safe distancing and safe practices with wearing gloves, booties, and masks.
So if you have any questions about anything that we've discussed today, please call or text us. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And also, even though you may not be ready or now is not the time for either buying a home or selling a home, we can help you with a Zoom call to have a strategy session, either as a consultation as a buyer or to what you need to do to prepare your home when this is all over. So call or text today.